And then I'll offer a Dharma reflection, sharing, and then we can open to discussion, comments, questions, sharing. So as we settle in together, let's just take a moment and touch into our intentions for why we came to practice tonight, why we're here, joining this group, coming to practice metta. What is it that brings us here? What are our intentions for ourselves in our practice? And we can turn towards the other friends in the room. Unknown friends or known friends. Everyone here who's showing up tonight to do this beautiful practice. People with wholesome intentions to cultivate loving kindness for ourselves and for others. Just offering each other, everyone in this room, respect and joy for your practice. And as we start, I'd like to offer gratitudes to our spirit guides, to the devas, the earth spirits, the Dharma devas, our spiritual ancestors who've been guiding and holding us all along the way and probably encouraged us to do this tonight when we could be doing anything else. So moving to practice, getting into a comfortable position, letting any wiggles come out, either sitting or laying down, orienting towards ease in the body, softness in the body, releasing tension, getting comfortable. You can take a deep, full breath in, down into the belly, expanding the whole body as we inhale. And exhaling, releasing and softening, letting the body settle a little deeper, the mind, the whole field settle a little deeper, letting our energy soften and relax. Another deep, full breath in, all the way down into the lower body. And exhaling, softening a little deeper, relaxing. And one more deep, full breath, refreshing. And exhaling, softening. Letting the breath come into a natural, soft, easeful breath. Letting our attention fall throughout the whole body, throughout this whole field. Just this experience right here in this moment. The expansion of the breath, the relaxation, the softening. Inviting an easeful presence all the different sensations pinging in from different places, the sounds, the sensations on the skin, the waves of the breath coming and going, the burbling of thoughts coming and going, just floating by. Right here with this experience of mind and body. Inviting a settling, without expectation, without pressure for it to be any certain way, anything different than it is. We'll move through the classical categories, ascending metta, starting with ourselves. Tuning into the heart center in this body, the center of the chest. Just being present right there in our heart space. As the waves of breath flow over. Bringing our intention for kindness, our intention for care, for our experience right here in our own hearts. All of our attention and care collected back into its home. We can visualize a light or an energy emanating from our heart center, expanding outwards, gradually filling this entire being. Moving upwards and downwards through our whole bodies, expanding through the chest and belly, through the neck and head, out through the limbs. This light of kindness flowing through this whole being, through the field of the body and through the field of the mind. Inviting this kindness and care for all of our thoughts, all of our emotions. The sunshine that's shining throughout this whole being. I'll offer some phrases. If you have other phrases that resonate strongly for you, please use them. If phrases don't resonate for you, stick with the visualization, with the light, and go where the metta flows. May I be safe and protected from harm. May I be peaceful and joyful. May I be free from suffering and live with ease. We can visualize the light grow brighter as the words flow over, flow through. Maybe we can feel a warmth flowing through this body in the winter time. Our warm kindness and friendliness, our wholesome wishes. Again, may I be safe and protected from harm. May I be peaceful and joyful. May I be free from suffering and live with ease. Letting the body soften even more. The face soften, the jaw, the neck, the shoulders, the chest. Letting the belly hang loose and soft. The limbs hang loose and soft. Just allowing this experience without judging it. Bringing to mind another being, a benefactor, someone who's been kind to us, a mentor, maybe, or a pet, someone with whom it's uncomplicated and unentangled, maybe a child or a grandparent or a friend. visualizing them, extending this light out to touch their heart, emanating and radiating to their heart, and seeing their heart glowing like a little sun, growing brighter, offering them this kindness and this care. May you be safe and protected from harm. Seeing them receive these kind words, this kind energy. May you be peaceful and joyful. May you be free from suffering and live with ease. You can repeat their name in your mind if it helps keep your mind there with them, with this kindness for them. May you be safe and protected from harm. May you be peaceful and joyful. May you be free from suffering and live with ease. Just holding them glowing in this light. Held in warmth and in care. Thanking them and bringing to mind a new being, a neutral being, someone, a stranger, maybe someone you've seen, someone you've interacted with, but don't really know, don't know the story of, don't have either craving or aversion towards. Maybe the person at the grocery store, or the post office, someone you saw crossing the street today. Neutral person, neither loved nor unloved. Visualizing them extending this light, radiating this kindness out from your heart to their heart being touched and glowing in this light, it growing brighter and expanding through their being. holding them in this kindness, this wish for their wellness, a kind wish for goodness in their life. May you be safe and protected from harm. May you be peaceful and joyful. May you be free from suffering and live with ease. Seeing them in this glow, receiving this kindness. May you be safe and protected from harm. May you be peaceful and joyful. May you be free from suffering and live with ease. Thanking them. And now bringing to mind a new being, maybe someone we've had a minor challenge with or a little difficulty with, someone who has brought up our own shadow. Doesn't have to be the biggest fish unless you're ready for that. Maybe someone who you've held irritation towards or minor resentment, things like that. Bringing this person to mind and extending this kindness, this light emanating from our heart to their heart. Seeing their heart glowing in this light. May you be safe and protected from harm. May you be peaceful and joyful. May you be free from suffering and live with ease. Holding them in this light of kindness. Knowing that they too suffer and wish to be happy, just as I suffer and I wish to be happy. May you be safe and protected from harm. May you be peaceful and joyful. May you be free from suffering and live with ease. Seeing them receiving this kindness, glowing in this light. May you be safe and protected from harm. May you be peaceful and joyful. May you be free from suffering and live with ease. Thanking them. And expanding this light out from our heart in all directions, in every direction, above and below, expanding it outwards to the beings, the neighbors, everyone around, human and non human. Expanding out further to the town, the city, or the region. Out over the country, expanding outwards, touching every being, humans in all their states, in all their forms, animals, devas, beings known and unknown to us. Expanding this kindness in all directions, outwards over the water, down into the water, into the sky, over the entire earth, spreading this light of kindness everywhere. All the beings in all their forms just trying to live somewhere on their journey from birth to death. wherever they are and whatever they're experiencing, whether they're in a fortunate or unfortunate state. Letting this light touch everybody. All the way to the other side of the planet. All people, all creatures, and outwards from the earth out through the universe, whatever kinds of beings there are, expanding this light. Letting it shine infinitely. And coming back right here into this heart, back fully into this being, feeling presence in the body, maybe wiggling the fingers and toes. Coming back into the room. Ding. So letting the body wake up, maybe wiggle or move as needed. Yeah, feel free to turn on your cameras if you like. Also, feel free to leave them off as you please. All right. So, metta. Oh, there's so many directions I could go. Um, yeah, so I'll reflect a little and share a little. Um, it's been in my heart. Let's see. This is a Dhamma Dena gathering, and something that let's see, Ruth Denison, who started Dhamma Dena and ran it for many years, very deep practitioner. Dhamma Dena blossomed around her because her practice was so deep. She's a spiritual ancestor of Dhamma Dena, including this gathering, including my own practice. And all over Dhamma Dena, there's little postcards with a picture of her, and on the back side, maybe some of you have seen them, there's the 5 frequent reflections that the Buddha taught. Um, and these reflections, um, they've been a strong doorway for me into metta practice, actually. So the reflections are: I'm subject to aging. I've not gone beyond aging. I'm subject to illness. I've not gone beyond illness. I'm subject to dying. I've not gone beyond dying. All that is mine, beloved and pleasing, will become otherwise, will be separated from me. And then the 5th one is: I am the owner of my actions, heir to my actions, born of my actions, supported by my actions. Any action that I do for good or for ill, of that I will be the heir. And that last one is about karma. The word actions actually in the traditional language is karma. Um, so the these reflections, as we consider just being subject to aging, sickness, and death, and that I'll be separated from everything that I hold dear, everything that I care about, everybody, everything, uh, everything I identify with as me. It it's not to scare us or cause anxiety, but to understand this reality and to help us bring compassion for ourselves and for others, because just as we are subject to these things, so too are everybody else. And along with compassion is one facet of the same diamond that metta is. Metta and compassion are very close to one another. um, and it was really powerful me in my practice going to Dhamma for the first time and seeing those phrases all over the place and reflecting on them. And then, like, I looked up Ruth Denison's talks on Dharma seed, and the first one I ever heard was Ruth, uh, very advanced in age, maybe in her 80s, and she sounds like a tiny grandma with her German accent, and she's talking about um, it was like everybody who's ever lived has died. Everybody in Mesopotamia lived and died. Everybody here and everybody there, and going through all these different, like, beings in different places who've lived and died. And then, and she also was like, she listed all these ways I could die today. I could slip in the shower. Um, like, I could this, I could that. Um, this reflection on the fragility of these bodies and these beings, and how all those beings that lived and died, all of them were, they were children, they were parents or relatives, they were brothers or sisters or uncles or mothers. And um, I yeah, I just loved hearing that first talk by Ruth Denison, our spiritual ancestor. And um, just with great gratitude for the depth of practice that she cultivated and the life that she lived in service of the Dharma, which is in service of everybody else's awakening, making space and offering what she could. Um, it's it's like her life and the creation of Dhamma was an act of metta, just ongoing metta, ongoing generosity, and ongoing wisdom, um, that is so needed in this world. And so, with great gratitude in my heart, yeah, it's she's just been in my heart. I keep her on my altar. I keep her wherever I travel and end up living. I'm at another Dharma center. I have an image of her, and it's actually an image one of her students sent me of her in her coffin after she died, and she's covered in flowers. The students covered her in flowers, and I'm sure all of them got to hear many death reflections that she offered that can help us turn towards this natural wish for wellness of ourselves and others, and kindness for beings in this existence. Um, I can also see, like, other waves so I'm at another Dharma center, not at Dhamma Dena right now. But a nun arrived here. She's here to meditate for the month. She's also quite elderly, and her very first teacher was Ruth Denison. Um, and it's just amazing. And I originally met her when I was doing long-term practice in Myanmar, and this nun who's here now, she like came to my kuti, shaved my head, like took me to be ordained. Like she is a someone who really brought me into the Dharma. But I met her in Myanmar, completely separate from Dhamma Dina. But Ruth had been her original teacher, bringing her into the Dharma. And it's like, the ripples of the gifts of the Dharma that just spread in these ways. And this lovely nun, like her life, the last 30 years, or even maybe more than 30 years, has been spent often in service, translating Burmese teachers into English during retreats. She was the translator for my interviews, and um, yeah, just seeing the ways that people's practice and devotion to practice, and then the opening of generosity of being able to share, like, has touched and shaped and deeply benefited my life. I feel such gratitude for these Dharma elders, and yeah, I hope when you all are at Dhammadina, some of you are at Dhammadina, you can tune in and feel that energy and that goodness rippling into your own practice. Um, yeah, let's see what else. Oh, Ruth Denison. um, there's another story I want to tell. Maybe I'll save it for a next time. Another reflection for metta I wanted to bring in is all the different places in our day, throughout our days, where we can bring our metta practice just in our day to day life, moment to moment. It's not just for sitting practice. The sitting practice is practice for being in the world too, and interacting with others. And um, I've brought metta practice into the grocery store, into the traffic jams in the Bay Area where I lived for a long time. Um, any place, any place where there's other beings, it can having an intention to practice metta there. Anytime we're waiting in a line, or anytime we're like we have to be on the phone with the bank or something, inviting the practice of metta into all these different places in our lives. And over time, open our hearts more and more, help our both our inner actions of thought become more in alignment with our hearts, and that becomes our outer actions in the world more deeply aligned with our heart's deeper wishes and our heart's deeper wisdom, that's beyond the the kind of standard way we're habituated to moving through the world, or just experiencing being around other beings day to day. For some reason, I used to have anxiety going to the cashier at the grocery store when it would be my turn. And like once I started years ago, started practicing metta at the grocery store, it was just like, oh. this like diminishing of just that irrational social anxiety that would habitually happen, and being able to be present in kindness, even if you don't have to say anything like, may you be well and happy today, but just the heart emanating that, it brings goodness. And sometimes people can consciously pick up on it, sometimes people don't, often people don't, and still there's an energetic resonance with people's hearts when you are showing up in kindness. So a really important thing that happens as we invite metta practice into our daily lives, like moments throughout the day, is the things, the habitual movements of mind that are not metaful or that are contrasting to metta become highlighted. So just like habitual negative self-talk, or like just unconscious habitual ways of relating to people or circumstances, or just doing the dishes. I like, once I started doing both metta and mindfulness practices, I realized every time I do the dishes I get angry. Like, my mind just starts spinning in stories about like meh, 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 this person, or meh, 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 that happened, da, da, da. Like the this just unconscious momentum of the mind. um, as we create intentions towards wholesome states of mind, just mindful presence, loving kindness, compassion, things like that, everything that isn't that starts to become highlighted in our awareness. And there's many moments throughout the day that we start to notice, oh, wow, I'm really out of alignment with my heart's wishes. And then, okay, no blame, no shame. It's all conditioned, just impersonal conditioned phenomena unfolding. And here's where my agency is in this moment. When I see it, I can start shifting it. Um, so, yeah, just inviting metta into walking to the bathroom, into, I mean, we're in the field of the holiday season. Like at my parents' house, when I visit, they often have a news program on news, that is difficult for me to listen to. And so sometimes I'll put on headphones and I'll see my parents or the beings on the television and send them metta. Um, yeah, different ways we can bring in the ways that we can. Um, yeah, our kindness and our loving awareness. It's really, really needed in this world. It's really, really needed. So, an hour feels a little short to me. Maybe we can extend it 15 minutes next time. um, but I'd like to invite, if folks have reflections or questions or something on your heart you'd like to share, feel free to